Today we're making fondue. Because we know you all missed it at the party, we figured we might as well share a made-up recipe with you. That's right, we're just gonna make it up on the fly right now. So, for our fondue, we're going to have 3 types of cheese: a Gouda, a Dubliner, and a little bit of Parmesan. Normally I wouldn't say use pre-shredded. We're gonna shred the rest of it right here, but this is what we have, so we're going with it. Okay, so we need between 4.5 and 6 cups of cheese that we're going to mix with 1 cup of wine or chicken stock and milk, because if you substitute the wine, then you need to use 1/2 of a cup of chicken stock and 1/2 of a cup of milk. But we're going to use wine. It's a Chardonnay, because we all know I love drinking that. Okay, so we're going to cut up the cheese so we can shred it in the food processor, because between 4 and 6 cups is a lot for hand shredding. And your mixture is kind of going to be whatever you decide. Whatever you have. So, it's pretty easy. Opening the Gouda. Fun. This giant hunk. Oh, Gouda. It also says on it, keep refrigerated. It's cheese. Of course you're going to keep it refrigerated. Silly people. It has this lovely red rind. Sure, that was exciting. I'm going to go ahead and cut this into chunks. Remove the rind. Because we don't eat this, it's wax, that's gross. I think I need one more chunk of Gouda, because it's Gouda. I'm cheesy. You all know that. That's why we have a cheese-filled holiday party. Oh no, I almost lost it. Okay, process. Okay, so we have our cheese chunked up. So now we are going to put it through the food processor to shred. It's going to be noisy. All right, so now, this is the most important step of making the fondue, and it is that we mix this freshly shredded cheese with a tablespoon of cornstarch. The reason we do that is because it's going to need to thicken once you cook it in the pot. If you don't, then you will just have a chunk of cheese in some liquid. So I take this cheese out and put it in here. Look at that fresh shredded goodness. It's going to be super melty and delicious. Okay. And then I need a tablespoon cornstarch. I mean, you can kind of eyeball it too if you're just using a regular spoon. Okay. And then I am going to mix this with my hands. Get all up in its business. Get all up in its business. Get this mixed in, get this shredded, because it comes out of the processor in a giant clump. Excellent. This is where we will add just a little bit of our Parmesan to make it nice and 3 cheese. I think that looks like enough. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. Mix that in now too. Might make our consistency a little bit weird since that was pre-shredded, but we also can't use the food processor for shredding Parmesan. It's too hard. Okay, so now we will preheat our pot and get our wine ready. This is from the Aldi wine calendar. So you can use any wine that you like. Just don't use white Zinfandel because it's not a real wine. Okay, that's all. Okay, we are gonna wait for our pot to get hot. Sometimes we can do like a tablespoon of butter and some onions and cook that down a little bit, or use some of the recipes have you rub garlic around the pot. That's good too, like a garlic clove, because it just like gives it a light flavor. But for ours, we are going to add some spices tonight. We are going to add some smoked paprika and some white pepper. Okay, we will add our wine to the pot. Woo! And now you're just going to wait for it to come to a boil so that it can cook off all of the alcohols, but still leave that fabulous flavor. Okay, so I turned down the heat a little bit when the wine started boiling because we don't want the cheese to boil once we start adding it. So we'll start adding now. It's about medium heat after it came up to a boil, or medium low, I guess. So we just add a handful at a time. And then stir in a figure 8 motion, as it helps the cheese melt. And we add in a handful and wait for it to melt, and then we will add in another handful. As this starts cooking and melting all together, it'll be a nice smooth consistency, or it should be if I did everything correctly. Okay. All right, we're going to add the last of our cheese here. Okay. And since we have now added the last of our cheese, we are almost done. The last thing to do is add whatever spices you wanted. Now, you could add these spices when you are cooking the wine. The nature of the spices that we have, I'm choosing to add them at the end. And I'm not going to measure because sometimes I don't measure. Just adding, eyeballing what I think looks good. That is the white pepper. Stirring it in. You could use any spice you want. I just wouldn't add salt because cheese is already salty. So I actually thought about putting some prepared Dijon mustard in, but decided not to this evening. So, and then we'll add the paprika now that the pepper is stirred in. And this is a smoked paprika. It's going to give our fondue a orangish red color to this evening. When you are dipping your items into your fondue, you want to dip in a figure 8, kind of like I am stirring, because it will keep your fondue from separating. All right, it looks done. Shall we taste it? Yes. Cheese. There's your standard of vegetables. So mushrooms, asparagus, celery, green peppers, broccoli, basically anything that you like. We have bread, bread cubes, so any type of baguette, ciabatta, whatever kind of bread you like, except for sandwich bread. Not recommended for you to use sandwich bread. And then, of course, the bacon or the meat. Some of the fondue recipes suggest dipping in some sausage or little like smoked snack sticks or things like that. Those are always good. So if you are a meat eater. So let's try it. I'm going to use the bacon as a stirrer in a figure 8 style. That's right. Cheesy, bacony goodness. I'm gonna burn myself. That's good for a made-up-on-the-fly recipe. Check plus. Jack, you should come eat some with me. Fondue that first, silly. Ooh, that's coated. You gotta get your cheese in.
Yep. Cheese sponge. Okay, here goes. It's good.
I like fondue. Do, 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 do. That's right, that's my fondue song. I like fondue. Oh, hot. Oh, hot.
Mm.
So, this is fondue. Hopefully you can make your own and pretend that we're hanging out together. So.
If you have any questions or anything, leave comments below.
Oh, you're a regular YouTuber now. All right, so happy holidays, everybody. Talk to you later. Stop stabbing me. Bye.
Bye.